Hi everybody, here I am and I'm canning sauerkraut. There is my whole big old crock of kraut. I think we had 13 or 14 heads of cabbage in there and about a cup and 3/4 of salt sprinkled and layered and packed down and packed down and packed down and mixed, and then we set a plate that fit the inside of the ceramic crock, and on that crate or plate we put stone weights and a big rock on top of that, and then we watched the first day where it bubbled over, so much fluid came out. After that we skimmed fermented gas bubbles, and they're not oxygen bubbles, they're carbon dioxide. The reason you're keeping the weight on is to keep oxygen from getting there and cause bacteria to grow and cause your kraut to spoil. So as long as it stays under that fluid, it's good. And we skimmed that off, and then after the last week, just this last week, we got a little bit of white mold, and every day I would scrape that off, sometimes twice a day, and it wasn't very much at all, and that is okay. They say if it's white mold, and ours was white, or if it's greenish blue mold, that's okay. But what you really want to watch out for is black. If it turns black, that's not good. Throw all of it out. It's no good. Mine's not black, as you can see. Wow! And this is after 3 weeks. 3 weeks of scraping and brewing and bubbling and smelling. Oh my. Anyhow, so now what I'm doing is I've got over here on my stove, my water bath is already boiling. I got my lids, they are simmering, and inside of my oven I have my jars, and they've been washed in the dishwasher, and now they're being kept in that oven at 200 degrees, which will keep them sterile. Over here you can see I've got 1 can of kraut that is packed and just letting the bubbles settle to the top, get the air out, one that's got the cover on, and pretty soon they'll both go in the water bath with the other fella. I've got 1 jar out here from the oven. I'm about to pack, and what I do is I take that nice big wooden spoon I bought from Amish country. Isn't that just lovely? I love that spoon. And you put it into the jars and you slightly pack it down, not really hard or anything. And over there in that little teapot is water and sea salt. You can't use table salt. You have to use canning salt or sea salt. And it's just full of salty water, because after I pack my kraut into that jar, then I put the salty water to the top, almost to the top. Then I take that tiny little wooden stick there and I just kind of tamp down and stir, and I'm also packing down a little bit as I'm putting it in the jars, but that's getting the air bubbles out, and that's why the 1 jar over here is sitting with the getting the rest of the air bubbles out, and you can see the air bubbles come out, and that's good. You want them to come out. Then after we screw the lids on as tight as we can by hand, and we put them in the water bath, and you cook them or boil them for 15 minutes, and then you take them out and you use a jar holder. Where's my jar holder? I'd show it to you if I could see where I set it down. Anyhow, and you very carefully put them on a towel and just leave them alone. You know, Don, he likes to monkey with them. He gets me mad. You leave them alone, and then you hear him go pop, 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 and then in the winter you get to have sauerkraut, and it's homemade, and it tastes so good. This stuff tastes good already. I am definitely having hot dogs with sauerkraut tonight. Okay, so I'll show you my jars when I'm done.